Good morning. Working. So today I'm going to be faffing around with my Aston Martin clutch I found on the scrapyard. Oh, that lens a bit scummy. What can I wipe it with? Something soft and pleasant. There we go. That'll do. Okay, close your eyes. Better? Better. Yeah, so I got this clutch. This in here, which is a spanky, manky Aston Martin DB9 clutch. There's a plate that sits up against there, like that. Then the whole assembly bolts onto there. Ooh! That's the flywheel that came with it. So you can see it's been getting pretty gosh darn hot. Little burnt bits here and here. So I'm guessing it was taken off because it slipped, but it doesn't look like it's really been used a lot because the plate isn't reflective all over. It's got sort of reflectiveness edges and that's it. And that's the sort of thing you get when you don't bed a clutch in enough before you start giving it a great big boot full of horsepower. So since that car originally had about 450 pounds-foot of torque, it's probably going to cope with a bit more, which should be ample for me. And now I've got to get it apart. So to get it apart, I've got to release these straps here. And to do that, I'm going to grind the heads off these rivets and see if I can just knock the pegs through. I probably can't, they're probably rusted in like a good one, but that's the first step. So that's what I'm gonna do. Too much stuff at the back of the bench. Need to have a tidy up. We're going to go for today then. I'm going to go for that one. There we go. Nicht gebudgen. Right. Try using one of my new, spanky new, Lidl's hole saws. Lovely. I really like these. Maybe that one's worth a go. Oh, wrong one. That should go on there. That doesn't feel right. That's better. Nope. Zilcho. Don't know if you can see, but we want a gap to start appearing. Oh no, we're on this one. We want a gap to start appearing down here. And it looks like nothing's moving. So I reckon that's probably seized in that aluminium pillar. And that actually came apart very easily. So you can see I've just ground the head off, and these are the tie straps. So I can do that there. There's 6 in total. 1 done, 1 more to do, then I've got 4 to do, and the whole thing will come apart. So not so bad. Just getting these pins out of here might be fun. That's it. Okay, you all clear? All clear. Let's tuck everything away. Tuckety tuck. Metal in my mouth. Okay. Let's see what we've got. This should all come apart now, I think. Oh! They've hooked the epoxy spring onto the top plate. There's a little hook over the spring which is fixed in here. Bastardo. But the next one should come undone, shouldn't it? Oh, but that's held with a spring there. Ah! Oh no, it won't rotate. Oh, what a pistachio nut. What does that knock around? Ah! Ba-da-da-ba! Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Come on, off you come. Who's still stuck on? That one is. And there you have it. That's been slipping as well. And there's the plate. Plate looks alright. And there's the next piece. There we go. Ta-da! And there you have it. Nothing very unusual. Bit rusty, but that's okay. Now we can get in, weld up that little crack there. Comes down here, and probably stops just in there somewhere. Rest of them look fine. Where else has it been welted? There. No crack on that one. Okay. So now I can stick this on the lathe, polish it up, make it look all spanky and clean, ready for welding. Hopefully that'd be alright to do it with the spring in there. It should be. It's not going to take a lot of weld. Oh, actually, perhaps I'd better have a bit of a go. I'm trying to drill out these studs. I've just cut the heads off. Because that could be fun. Only one way to find out. I'll drill from this end first. Where are we? 11:47. Ooh, barometric pressure's dropping like a stone. Low pressure, means it's a bit warmer. Where are we today? There. 6 in, 8 out. It's actually warmer outside than it is in here. It's thermal battery thing it does. Let's try drilling from the other side, one of the ones I've already drilled. So let's try the short one. Let's try drilling that one there. I'll grind it down to the surface, then spot punch it, and give it a damn good drilling. See what that does. I'll come back with the, once I've drilled it and I'm trying to tap it out, because that's more exciting. Well, I managed to get 2 of them out at the top. One of them's a bit oval, one of them came out pretty well. And the only way I could do this was to get the old pillar drill out. And I don't know if you can see this. I drilled down the centre of the rivet, I suppose you'd call it, and broke through just there, but that's okay. And once I got down to, what is it, about halfway, the thing would knock out. So it looks like that's the process. If I'm really careful, I can get it that accurate again, where I've centre punched that by eye, and then drilled straight down with a drill which is only, I don't know, 5 thou on each side, smaller. So yeah, 4 more to do. I'll come back when I've done that. He sniffed and snuffled. Well, I got those out. That all went pretty well. I managed to, that's the longest one, I managed to drill less than half of it and doink it out. They're not really all that rusted in or anything. I think they're just long and tight. That's what she said. And yeah, that one came out in 2 pieces. These ones, oops, let's go around a bit. These ones I pressed out 2 of them. So that's good. That was a major potential grief maker that's only taken me 12:52, hour and a bit to do. Where's that crack? There's that crack. You can see that little crack there. I'll clean away the root of it and see how far it goes, but hopefully we can just weld up there. I'll V it out, weld it up. It goes up to about there. So weld all that up, weld this up, weld that dimple there up, then I can smooth it off in the lathe. And that'll all be ready to go back together again after a bit of a de-rustification. I can measure the thickness of the spring, and that'll give me an idea of its pressure from its thickness and its diameter. It's not a lot different to a mini spring actually, to be honest. But I don't think I need to twin spring this one because it's got a 2 plates of goodness. You can't beat 2 plates of goodness. And they have really minimal wear. Big old doink lost out of there, but that don't make no never mind. I think that's going to be fine. As long as it all fits inside. Somebody's been writing on it. Bearing side. Got to put different centres in. That's possibly going to be my next fun and games. Excuse me. I'm Mr. Croaky again. Or make up a centre adapter, something with those splines in it, and then internally the transit splines, but I think I'll probably end up welding new centres in. Time for lunchy lunch. Cheerio. Okie dokie, well. Oh, welcome back again. So I've polished up, oops, bits of the clutch. And I've just tapped that onto there, loosely. Taken out all the gubbins, got all the rivets out. There's the cover, there's the intermediate plate, there's the 2 clutch plates. So I've cleaned all that up, hand sanded these, because when you do them with the angle grinder they get a sort of sheeny, rusty layer, which although looks sort of cleanish, it's not very grippy. So I've hand sanded those. You can see some heat check marks here and there, but I think they'll be fine. It's not the most refined of vehicles, so now I've got my gearbox that I've just hauled out of where it was stuck behind 3 cars, and I give myself a hernia. And I was just checking out the situation. That's the hole that the clutch arm goes through. That there is the pivot pin. Don't know if you can see that. And so it pivots on there, comes along here, it's got the release bearing there, which moves up and down here, goes out there and then gets pulled by the cable. So the question is this too deep to fit in the bell housing? See in that hole? So I'm going to stick this in as far as I think it needs to go. You can get an idea of where it's all going to have to sit. So if that goes in to there, which I reckon is about where it's going to be living. Ooh, where's my torch? Where's my torch gone this time, Theo? You can sort of see that there's quite a bit of room. I think that might just fit in. There's our pivot peg there. So it's going to sit like that. Not sure. Might be right. Might be a load of poo. But that's where I am at the moment. Isn't it, Theo? What do you think? Is that where I am? Is that where I am? What's going on with you? Hey? What's going on with you, little snoogie boy? I know. Hello. Hello. Who's my boy? Who's my boy? I know. Life, eh? Life. And that's me done, I think, for today. This cage is all ready to be welded. Well, I haven't beat it out, but it's all cleaned. And actually I might as well leave it bolted to this, because I'm going to bolt it onto this when I weld it up. So I shall find some more bolts. I've only got 3. I need another 2. Is that right? No, I need... Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's one for the... I need some more bolts. Don't want one in there. Oh, of course. I can't put bolts in the ones that have been welded up because then I won't be able to weld them. Oh, Theo. Brain the size of a pea. Okay, good. Ciao for now. Have a nice evening. Bye. Hello. Working. So here I am working on my clutch. I've changed the centre in this one. That's a new centre welded in. Had to do a bit of machining on it, but that's okay. That's all ready to go. These are the pieces of the clutch. Oops. These are the pieces of the clutch that centre came from. There's the old centre, which was just, don't know quite how it was held in. I think it was pressed into little slots and then machine welded with little dobs of weld, is what I can imagine. So that's out. Now I'm taking apart another clutch. Oh. That's great. Here we go. So here are the bits of my next plate that I'm changing, that I've taken to pieces. Those are the springs. These are the plates that sit in the middle. This is the actual plate that I'll be putting the new centre into, and you can see the little teeth on it that engage with that other centre. So it goes in there like that, then the new centre will go in there. This goes on top of it, like so, and these little springs sit all the way around here to cushion it. If the springs weren't there, this would just do that. But with the springs there, you can only move a certain amount, and that cushions everything up. So here's my other centre, Here's my other centre that I'm taking to pieces. I've just ground off the tops of the welded gubbins that are holding it together. I'll see if I can just put this here, for once people won't feel seasick. And where's my crowbar? It's incredibly quiet today because it's super foggy outside. But there's no traffic. Not that there's really much traffic around here anyway. So I'm just going to lever this off, hopefully. If I can get it to come. There we go. That's one off. There we go. And there's our centre. And that's the piece we want. So I'll be machining these little pegs down till they're the right diameter to fit into the plate. And all the rest of this is rubbish. Might as well save the springs, you never know. Can't have too many springs in the spring box. Well, this is all shims and things to stop it rattling. More shims, useful, a familiar size. That looks like a mini ball joint shim. Keep those. Scroungery McScroungery. No idea what this plate was from. I'm guessing from a Transit. Only rode up. There you go. That's the piece we wanted. So next thing to do is going to be to get shimmy with it. Or rather not shimmy with it, get next thing to do is going to be to get this machine down so that it will fit in the middle of there. There's not a lot of meat on it, is there? It's a bit of a small one. I'm wondering whether I should get a different centre or if I should build this up with weld. I might build it up with weld. Where's my stomach grumbling? Bit of a dinky centre. It's got plastic. Mine's all metal. Yeah, so that has to fit in there. Actually no, it'd be fine, because what I'll do is, over here, what I'll do is I'll machine these down till that fits in there, and then once it's lodged in the right place I'll weld all the way around to this plate, and then that ain't going nowhere. So there you go. Next stop, lathe. Ta-ta! A little bit of lathing going on. My light's not very good, I'm afraid. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just trimming down this tooth section. Little bit by little bit, till it's the size of the plastic bush. Okey-dokey, well that's machined, so that now fits down there. There's a little plasticky thing. Here we go. So that now fits inside that locator. And all this really does is affect side-to-side play. It's not controlling up and down movement, because this is mounted on the gearbox shaft which goes into the end of the crank, so it can't go up and down. And this is mounted in the flywheel, in the pressure plate, so it's not going to be going anywhere either. But the problem is, if I have this sticking out just so those teeth engage, which will be that way up, like so, then when I put on the part that's supposed to grip it, which is this bit, there isn't enough teeth for me to machine down to make this a tight fit. If I push it in any further, this is going to come out of that register, or come out of that plastic sleeve. So what I'm going to do is, I've just cleaned off these, I'm going to weld these up, so I can then machine them down to this diameter or depth, and then I can machine them finely to fit as a press fit in there. Then I can weld it all together. So I'm going to go and do a bit of welding. Grip, 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 grip. That's it. There we go. It's a bit wobbly. A bit carbony. These are only for locating it, these welded blobs. Once it's in the right place, I can weld it all around. Okay, welded. and machine down. You can see where there's a bit of porosity in the weld, but it's only to hold it true on the plate. And now I'm cutting it down to length because this is the length of the original and it's got to be made shorter. So I've got to take this down to this mark here. I don't know if you can see that. There's my torch. There we go. Where's that light? That little mark, shiny mark just there. And then I'll take a bit off the other end as well, and that'll bring it down to width, and then I can weld the centre on. Nice. Went okay. Just let that cool down, machine it down to clear the plastic shim plate that sits on that face. That's job done. Yeah, that's pretty warm. Nice! We're all welded up, machined up, ready to go back together. Just like it. Another good thing about these springs is they hold it all true as well as those plastic bits in the middle. There we go. This one, see, it's got the sprung loaded washer. It's a little wavy spring in there. That presses on there. There we go. That's it. It's got little holes lining up with the pegs. So now I just need to put it in the vise. Ooh. Bass voice. Put it in the vise, clamp it up, weld it together. Job's a good one. And there we go, all pressed in, ready to weld. Still croaky. All welded up. That's one plate. And there's the other plate. That's how it all goes together. Plonky plonk. Plonky plonk. Plonkety plonk. And that. So this has the aluminium cage, goes around the outside with the cone spring pressing down on this edge, bolted to the flywheel. And then these little arms fold in. These here get bolted to the aluminium cage where these rivets used to be. Now I'm going to use bolts. May just work. Who knows? Time will tell. Good morning. Well, I haven't done much filming because I've been intensely working on the car. However, here's my spanking new clutch. I'm going to shine it light that way. And that's off an Aston Martin DB9, as I've probably said already. Excuse me. And it's ready to go back in. I had to remachine the adapter that sits in there and do lots of work. It's all been welded and strengthened and generally rebolted and malarkey. So that's ready to go. Here's the gearbox out of the car, and that clutch being much deeper, I had to clearance away these bits of metal here. And so I've got to smooth all those down and make it all look smooth and kindly, and smooth some bits down here where I'd hacked it all apart when I first built it to see if it all worked. Oh, and I had to move that stud in there so the clutch arm doesn't come forward so far. So that's my next mission, is to smooth all those off. Oh, and I've also got to cut this down somehow, which I think I'm just going to have to grind it down bit by bit because it's just a little bit too long. But yeah, so that's where it all came out from. Lots of room until you put the seat in, which is so thick and boofy and comfy wumpy that it takes up a lot of room. But I can always trim the seat down if I need to make more room. Lost the plot. Focused on what I'm doing. See, this is what happens. I get focused and I don't film. I don't know how people film and get stuff done. So I'll stick it on a tripod and film stuff of me doing stuff. Right, that's done. To cut that steel sleeve off, I made up this abortion, which is a thin disc with a bolt run through it and 2 washers, and is not very safe. So I didn't film it in case there was blood everywhere. And I've managed to slice through the edge just enough, hopefully without putting any notches to speak of in the main shaft. And I can now peel that off and smooth that down, and that gives me just the few millimetres I needed to clear the clutch, because I've got a twins plate clutch. The splines go from there right up to sort of there, and if the clutch centre was rubbing on here, the clutch would not be happy. So I'm happy I've got that done, and I'm happy I'm not in hospital. Yeah, don't do that. Right, back when I've cleaned that up. There we go then, a little bit butchered, but I've still got full bearing support without any interference with my clutch. The bit that would have rubbed up against is that centre in there. Oh, a little bit more light. There we go. That would have rubbed up on there. And it could have made a horrible screechy noise, or it could have stopped it from working properly. So, now I've got to pick this up, which weighs 94.8 pounds, and plonk it on the front of my gearbox. I'll find out if I've got the mating of the splines right, and bolt that bad boy together. So I'll stick this on the tripod so you can watch me slip a disc, and blood sports, that's what it is. There we go, let's get that off there. Come on now, where are you going? What are you doing? I just don't understand. There we go. Ooh, camera's going all over the place. Oh, good grief. That's it. I'll sort this out. Right, here goes nothing. Clear the flight path. Okie dokie. Now will it slot on? Aufgeschlossen. Aufgeschlossen. Oh, let's bring that up here a bit. A close up of the impending disaster. There we go. Put my scarf into battle position. My scarf's coming all twofold. It's only 6 or 8 degrees in here today. Engaged. Go on, in you go. Getting closer. Nearly there. Whew. Descarfation. In. We have matage. Where's my bolts? Donde está el bolto? Ah! El bolto aquí. That's a threader. That's not a threader. Holy smokes, it actually fits. Wonders will never cease. Does it go around without touching anything? Oh! What are we catching on? Is it just the clutch arm? That's better. Yeah. There we go. Amazing. Back later. Wunderbar. Bolt it all up, get the seat and the floor back in, put the oil back in, put the gear lever in, and we're back to where we wanted to be. Well, stuff my old boots, that appears to work. Ah, what a relief. I was playing around with ratios, trying to decide whether the pedal movement was too heavy, and I made up this little piece here, which I slid onto the clutch arm and experimented with, but I still wasn't sure, so I thought the only thing to do is to drive the bloody thing. And yeah, it revs up smoothly, doesn't vibrate, and oh, over here. Oh, that's a grubby lens. That should be better. And yeah, I appear to have a Aston Martin twin plate clutch. Get some light. Twin plate clutch in my car, and those clutches retail at something ridiculous. Like, I've seen prices from £1,400 to £2,300, and somebody smashed it up, taking it off the car, dumped it down the scrapyard, and repaired it, and fingers crossed it seems to be a goer and engages nicely, so I can put everything back together now and have the car as a functioning item, and then I can get on with my flow valves. Thanks for watching. Bye.